731-2565.
Okay, record.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
that now it's recording.
Thank you very much, and welcome to Sherman Oaks. And please be careful, it's a very dangerous community. Okay. Next, I'd like to have Elke.
I did that already.
You did that already? Okay. Next
Tilted.
is,
So,
let me,
how are you doing?
His head was cut off.
I know.
okay, next is Bob Anderson. Can you come up and give us an update on a couple issues of importance in Sherman Oaks?
Hi, everybody. We've attended some meetings on the new East Valley Transit Corridor. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's the metro concept for either a bus line or a light rail line that starts in Sylmar, goes over to Van Nuys and runs all the way down Van Nuys Boulevard to the Orange Line, taking out several lanes of traffic on Van Nuys Boulevard, then maybe going all the way down Van Nuys to Ventura, or maybe going down Sepulveda to Ventura. And we've been working with Councilman Labange's office, with Tommy Newman. We've made recommendations on what we think needs to be looked at in this concept study. And Councilman has made some strong recommendations for light rail and other things, but this is coming. So if you have any questions, you can contact us, because it's a very good thing to have rapid transit in LA, but it's got to be done right. And the main thing is we want to make sure that this is a seamless connection to the line that finally ends up going over Sepulveda Pass. Even though that's not going to be finished, I think they announced Monday night till 2038. So, I'm going to be walking on it with my walker, because I'm going to ride it. I'm going to ride the darn thing, even if I have to wait till 2038. The second thing is I've been getting a few more emails about noisy helicopters, especially in the Beverly Glen area, and my house too.
The lights.
I live near Woodcliff Road. And a lot of it is emergency helicopters. I'm working with a group, and we're trying to stop the media, the tour, and other helicopters from being so noisy. We're working with the Federal Aviation Administration, but we're also working with Congressman Schiff's office. We're going to a meeting in 2 weeks with the emergency pilots to try to see ways that they could fly a little bit less noisily, except if they're heading to an emergency. In a non-emergency situation where maybe they can be a little higher. So we're meeting with them, and in about a month we're meeting with the FAA. They're doing a noise study on helicopter noise in Los Angeles and how to help it. And that study should be done right about now, and they're going to present it sometime in June. And I'll put information on that in the next newsletter. Thanks.
Thank you. Deputies that are here representing anyone, elected officials, please come forward and introduce yourself. While we're doing that, the June meeting will feature the boss for the two gentlemen that are up here. That's our Councilman Tom Labange. So if you don't like the work that either one of these people are doing, next meeting, the third Wednesday in June, is your opportunity to set, I'm sorry, accountability. So with that, if you could introduce yourself.
Jonathan Brand, Planning Deputy, Councilman Tom Labange, Sherman Oaks, Western part of the district, on the city side as well.
Okay.
You don't think else to say?
Tommy Newman, Alice and I split, thank you Lauren, I appreciate that. Alice and I split Sherman Oaks in half. I take the northern half. I've really been focusing recently on cleaning it up. We are the only council office, as you all know, that has a truck that drives around the district and picks up, in addition to what the city already does, whatever we see. And so Fridays is Sherman Oaks Day. So you might have seen me recently cleaning out a storm drain over by Milliken. Spent the afternoon doing that. It'll work like a charm when it rains in 9 months. We also paid for these, our office paid for these great information flyers that a lot of you got today. Because we really think it's important to put all the information in one place. So keep those calls coming in, and we're doing everything we can to keep this neighborhood as clean as we possibly can. That's really been our focus over the last few weeks. Thanks, great to see everybody.
And both Tommy and I physically are out there on the truck. So we do take requests, and it's actually kind of nice to get out there, get rid of the suit, put on jeans and a pair of work shoes, and get out there. It's a pleasure.
And before you have tomorrow, you need to understand the significance. You might say, well, it's a truck and some workers. No big deal. Sounds like a great idea. But for the last couple decades, if you call the council office with a problem that, an abandoned mattress or couch or whatever, you'd be told, well, we'll report it to the sanitation department, but they're on furloughs and they don't have any money, so it may be weeks before the problem is dealt with. Under Labange, you call the office and one of these two gentlemen plus others will be out there with the truck, the problem's gone. It doesn't take a huge bureaucracy, so we appreciate what you've done. Speaking of tomorrow, what have you done recently for us?
Hi everybody, I'm Tamar Gallinson. I'm a deputy city attorney. I'm the neighborhood prosecutor for Van Nuys Division, which covers all of Sherman Oaks. I was actually in trial today on something that happened in Sherman Oaks. It was a club that was operating without permits on Ventura Boulevard. I got a guilty verdict, so I was very happy on that. For the most part, what I've been working on in Sherman Oaks is a lot of issues involving transients. For reasons that we're still trying to figure out why, we seem to be attracting more and more folks here in the area. And as the number of services have gone down, we're having a really hard time trying to figure out what to do with folks. Prosecuting them isn't working. They're cleaning up encampments and abandoned property is very hard to do because of some adverse court rulings. We heard today I was talking to some service providers who said part of the federal sequester cuts that we've been hearing about means there's really no more housing vouchers, so they don't even, when they find someone who is agreeable to housing, they have no more vouchers to give to them. So we've been trying to brainstorm some things that we can do. Today, many of the senior lead officers and I were at a meeting in between my court appearances. And one of the things that we think we're going to do is try to bring some of the services out to our homeless population here in Sherman Oaks and Van Nuys. A lot of folks, they qualify for various benefits, Social Security or disability. They might be interested in some mental health counseling, some alcohol treatment. There are programs like that out there, but because the valley is so spread out, there's really no way to get them to the programs and have them find out about it. So we think we're going to have a day or two where we bring those services to them, and hopefully in the next few months you'll hear a little bit more about that. If folks have ideas, I'm very open to hearing from them.
Thank you very much. Marcia, will you come out? And I'd like Jay Weitzler to stand. Jay, stand up. Okay. Jay is a personal injury attorney.
And I gave him my card.
And he gave us the card, and he's asked that the video be sequestered. Only kidding. Where's Matt Epstein? Matt, if you could leave the room as chairman of the South Valley Planning Commission, while we talk about some planning matters.
Marshall?
Oh, watch out for the cords.
Do we have new cords tonight because of mic problems in the past? And who purchased the new cords?
I buttered them myself. Okay, as I'm sure many of you read in the newsletter, the IVT project came before the Planning Commission and the planning staff. The bottom line is that the recommendation of the planning staff was to deny the project in its proposed form, which was 399 units, and to approve 325 units. The specific plan allows 277 units, so it's about, and based on the FAR, which is the floor area ratio, It's about 50% more than is allowed under the specific plan. The height was reduced from 100 feet to 82 feet by giving them a break that is due to mixed use projects, although they're only 9% mixed use, and that break requires that they be 33% mixed use. So they got a pretty good break from the powers that be. The Planning Commission itself rubber stamped the recommendation of the hearing officer, and it next goes to the Plum Committee of the City Council, and then after that to the City Council. It's not over yet, so we're ever hopeful, and we appreciate everybody that has contributed and showed up to these hearings, and it's made a big difference. All the letters and emails, we wouldn't be where we are without that. So it's really been appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. If there are any candidates in the room, please come up and introduce yourself. And I'd like to have the board of directors introduce themselves, because if you have any problems, these are the people that if you have a mattress, they're the ones that are going to pick it up for you. So over there, if the members of the board would introduce themselves. John Eisen. Elke. Marshall Long. Jules. Chuck. Matt Epstein, who hopefully is invited back. That's the group today. Again, there are no candidates here. So I'd like to welcome up moderator this evening and the candidates for City Controller. And John Eisen, who will be assisting in this process. Our moderator tonight is Dave Bryan. I'm sure you recognize him, Channel 2 and Channel 9 political reporter. Has been here before and conducted these debates. And he'll be the moderator, assisted by John Eisen. And do we have the order? Okay. Clearly there hasn't been as much attention to this race as the mayor's race. But this is a critical race if you're concerned about your money, tax money and other sales tax, etc. money. And if you're concerned that it's being spent in a manner that gives you the maximum amount of services. Because there's one person who can make a difference on fraud and efficiency, and that's the city controller. And one of the two people that are here tonight is going to be your next city controller. With that, I'd like to turn the microphone over to Dave Bryan.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you. I do political reporting, as Richard said, on Channel 2 and Channel 9. And by the way, I'd like to thank everyone who watched the mayoral debate Monday night, the three of you who watched, and you all deserve awards. You'll be getting it afterwards. And I want to invite the candidates. I want to invite the candidates to come up and join us now. Mr. Galperin, Ron Galperin.
This is a
Dennis
disclaimer.
Ryan.
Please be careful of the wires.
Let them get seated. Mr. Galperin is an attorney with a specialty in auditing and accounting issues. Ran for the city council in 2009. Taking some pictures while we talk. He's a community activist and has been on city commissions. Dennis Nye, former LAPD police officer, 33 years. 12 years in the city council, now running to become city controller. So two well-qualified, experienced candidates, and we're going to get to the questions in just a minute. Let me first give you the lay of the land. This is always the most boring part of the night, but I'll get through it really quickly. So we're going to do 2-minute opening statements for each candidate. Mr. Zine will go first. Then I'll be asking questions of the candidates. The person receiving the question gets 1.5 minutes to answer, and then if a response is necessary, 30 seconds for the response. Then each candidate will get to ask the other candidate 2 questions. And maximum of 30 seconds for the question. The candidate has a minute and a half to answer. And then we'll be reading your questions from the audience to the 2 candidates. And my partner in crime here, John Eisen, will be taking care of the most important part, which is the lightning round. Now, my wire is slowly being pulled away from me, so I don't know if that's a cue to move faster or what. I mean, I've been given a hook before, but this is really risky. And then at the very end, the candidates will have 2 minutes to give their closing statement. So I think I've gotten everything in. Have I missed anything, John? Are we okay? Okay, so let's start with opening statements. Dennis and I, you go first, 2 minutes.
Go through the obstacle course, thank you.
Yeah. That's part of the test. You don't become controller until you can navigate your way through here.
I was stepping on this. Whoever did the wiring on here was not an electrician. Dennis Zion, native Angelino, graduated from this high school in 1966. So I know the Valley very, very well. Went to the Los Angeles Police Department, 33 years with the LAPD, became a charter commissioner, helped establish neighborhood councils with the charter commission. 12 years ago, elected to the Los Angeles City Council, representing the 3rd Council District, which is Tarzana, Woodland Hills, Canoga Park, Casita, Winnetka. Canoga Park, Casita, Winnetka. Used to be West Hills. Our population grew so large, they took West Hills out of it. So, I have a plan, which is a 5-point plan for the controller. Experience I've learned in law enforcement, experience I've learned as a charter commissioner and as a city councilman. My 5-point plan. We need to be your eyes and ears in the controller's office to make sure the city's run smooth, professional, and proper. My 5-point plan includes find the money. Where are we going to find the money where we spend the most amount of money? Los Angeles Police Department Risk Management, Department of Water and Power. Find the money, track the money. Track the money through an online system where you as the voters, you as the population, you as the taxpayers will be able to see where the money is going in the different departments as they do in New York. Real-time numbers. Collect the money. We don't do a real good job collecting money in the city of Los Angeles. We need to collect money that's due to the city of Los Angeles. Waste, fraud, and abuse. We need to have an effective waste, fraud, and abuse unit. Currently, there's 1 person that handles waste, fraud, and abuse in the controller's office. Not sufficient to do the job. And finally, the reports that are required and the reports that are done by the controller's office, management audits, performance audits, audits that make sure that the departments are running smooth, efficient, and effective. That 5-point plan put into place will assure you, the taxpayers of the city of Los Angeles, that your city is run in a smooth, efficient manner. Just recently, they found $42 million in Department of Transportation dating back to 1995. That will not happen under my administration. Thank you.
Next, Ron Galper. Ron, like I said, this is part of your challenge.
Put this under. There we go.
These wires are an interesting paradigm for how the city of Los Angeles is operating. What a mess! Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Ron Galper, running for Los Angeles City Controller, of course. I first of all want to thank the Sherman Oaks Homeowners Association for putting this on, and also everybody for being here. There's a lot of things you could be doing this evening. Here you are listening to talk about the city's budget, so you are my kind of voter, what can I say? Now, the city of LA, as all of you know, has faced some serious financial problems. Just look at our headlines, and the shortfalls are anywhere between $200, $250 million supposedly a year. I'm here to tell you, unfortunately, the number's actually even worse than that. Because take a look at the condition of our streets, of our sidewalks, of our parks, of the money that we're not putting into infrastructure, and you realize that if we were honest about it, it's probably closer to about $1 billion a year. But the reason that I'm running for controller is because I see tremendous opportunity to save money, to do things differently. I am the only one out of 6 people who are running for citywide office who has not been an elected official of the city of Los Angeles. And yet, by chairing 2 of the city's financial commissions, I've come to have a deep understanding of the city's finances, coupled with my background as an attorney, as a journalist, as a person who's run quite a number of businesses. I've lived in LA for 28 years, and I feel myself very blessed to be here. First in my family to be born in the United States. My father's originally a Holocaust survivor from Romania. My mother's from Israel. And from them I learned the values of really hard work and of the fact that you can do almost anything that you want to do if you put your mind to it and if you work hard enough to do it. Now let me say this. In chairing 2 of the city's financial commissions, I've seen incredible opportunities to use our assets in a better way, to improve collections vastly, in terms of how we treat our businesses and how we do business in LA. We buy billions of dollars worth of goods and services, almost none of it from businesses in Los Angeles. I'm very proud to have come out first in the primary just in March the 5th, and to also have the endorsement of our former city controllers Laura Chick and Rick Tuttle, who understand what this job is about.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, and I look forward to this evening.
Thank you both. Mr. Galperin, when you get back to your seat, you're going to be getting the first question.
Okay.
Actually, this is for both of you, but you're going to go first. The importance of the controller's office, I think, we certainly have seen in the debate in the mayoral campaign. I'm not talking about, this is not a question about Wendy Gould. It's a question about the controller's office, which both of you are running to take charge of. The issues include $42.6 million, which suddenly showed up that no one knew about, that could have ameliorated some of the problems of the recession on the city, the DWP and their salaries and the pay raises. The question is, again, I'm not talking about an individual, but the office that you're taking over, what are you going to change? What are you going to do better than what's being done now?
Great question. The city controller is supposed to be the watchdog for everybody's finances, to make sure that the money is being spent well, and to make sure that we are really accounting for it properly. And it's not just about doing great audits, although that's absolutely an important part of being the controller, both performance audits as well as financial audits. It's about actually getting something done, because if you have a great audit and then nothing comes of it, then what? And we've seen many examples of that actually occurring. Let me give you sort of an example of what my approach to this position would be. One of the issues that I took up as chairman of the Commission on Revenue Efficiency was parking occupancy tax. Not a very exciting subject, but about $58 million a year to the city. And by the way, that's money that we already pay, that 10%, when we go to a parking lot. Well, that money is being stolen from us. And there's been audit after audit, and it's even gone through Mr. Zine's committee. And really, nothing constructive has happened. One of the things that I recommended was perhaps the most simple